the Gould Mine podcast.
The title of this episode has the word opportunity zone in the title. And so someone's just tuning in right now. They see, okay, this number, 2024 opportunity zones, like hasn't that ship sailed already? Like, why are we talking about opportunity zones in 2024?
Great question. And the reality of it is, no, the ship has not sailed. This program is a federal program that does not expire till 2047. And there is an extension act in Congress that's going to be, once that's signed through, is going to be extending the program out significantly. But right now, it's a very, very active program. It's a viable program. Individuals with capital gains can still take advantage of the program right now through at least through 2026.
Okay.
So very, very much a viable program.
So where does that misconception stem from then? Why? Because I myself, if I'm being honest with you, I didn't even realize that, because like I was told, oh yeah, you can't invest in opportunity zones anymore. Like
Right.
That's what I was told.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that comes from, Danny, just there's a misunderstanding around the year 2026. And
sure.
Right now, the way that the statute is written, 2026 is the deadline date. December 31st is the deadline date to roll money into an opportunity zone fund. And I think that's where a lot of people are looking at this program saying, oh, they think it may have already expired. It has not. And the negativism around it is simply because there is a expiration date coming up. But again, that's not until December 31st, 2026. And that's going to get extended out probably to at least 2030.
I see. Okay, gotcha. And when will we know whether or not that bill or whatever gets passed by?
Well, it's already
whatever
passed
House
the Senate side. So now we're just waiting on the House side. That's probably more than likely wrapped into whatever the tax bill is that the House is working on right now. So probably sometime in the next 4 or 6 months, I would imagine.
Okay, gotcha. So we're looking at maybe by the end of this year or like early 2025, likely some sort of extension. Okay, so let's talk about, because now, whether it's 2026 or 2030, what we're talking about is rolling money into an opportunity zone fund. So has that deadline already been pushed once before? Like, was the deadline previously like not 2026? Was it actually like before 2026?
Great question. The deadline's always been December 31st, 2026. What there was, though, is there were some additional benefits early on when the program first launched for investors. So when they rolled money into an opportunity zone fund, they could get up to an extra 15% off their tax liability. So simple example, if I had $1 million gain from selling Bitcoin, I rolled it into an OZ fund. Instead of paying the tax, because the way the program works is I'm deferring the tax that's due, but then any growth on my investment is then tax free. So that deferred tax that is due, I would have to pay the tax on $1 million sale of Bitcoin anyway, right? So I'm just deferring that date down the road. But early on, I got an extra up to 15% if I invested within certain time periods. So, and that 15%, what it related to was me holding for a certain period of time. So I had to meet a 5-year anniversary and a 7-year anniversary. If I met those two anniversaries, then by 2026, I would only pay tax on $850,000. So those two deadlines have already expired. The ability to invest today and hold for 5 years or 7 years and hit the 2026 deferment date, it's not possible on the calendar. Now,
I see.
What you think about that original benefit is, even though that benefit has expired, that benefit is actually added back into the Extension Act that's sitting on the House side right now.
I see.
That added benefit, what it's going to do is, number one, that Extension Act is going to take that 2026 deadline date, and that's going to kick that down the road significantly. Like I said, probably to 2030, maybe 2031.
Okay.
In there, the anniversary period went from a 5 and a 7 year to a 5 and a 6 year, which means that I could put money in today, hold for 6 years, hit the deferment date, and realize up to 15% step up. So really what the bill is going to do is push that deferment date in a major way and then re-incentivize investors to continue to keep utilizing the program.